Welcome to the Jamodi podcast, where we interview coaches and leaders to find out not just what they do, but how they do what they do. Becoming the best version of ourselves is Jamodi, just a matter of doing it. How does culture drive performance?
My first response to that, Matt, was how does it not? How does culture not drive performance? One thing I've learned recently, or it's crystallized recently, is relationships over revenue. Coaches operate on a currency of relationships. For some folks, their gifts are financial planning. Some of it is making a dollar. For us, we take who we are, we impart who we are and immerse it into who our kids are. And so we operate on a currency of relationships. And ideally, that return on investment is we're overjoyed as coaches when we see our kids return the favor, so to speak, by investing in somebody else. But we try and teach them how to fail. We try and teach them how to succeed. We try and help them be better than us. And so we invest, we deposit, we withdraw. But the bottom line is people, the bulk of kids are not going to remember their records. They're not going to remember overall the specifics of it. There are going to be a few. I average 17.8 points per game, blah, 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 blah. I average this many rebounds. There are going to be a few that remember that. But the whole thing about it is they're going to remember the relationships. They're going to remember the experiences and the memories and how people responded to that. So, with that, culture has to drive performance. Ultimately, that's what we're reduced to as a whole of a team. When we have we versus I can't stand it when coaches stand and talk to, hey, I need you to do this. I need you to do that. Because as a player, my mentality was, well, you might need that, but I don't care.
Right.
And what's in it for us? What's in it for we? You transfer that ownership. It puts everybody on a similar level, even though they have different roles, and the kids start owning it. And then our job is to then guide that culture into in a manner that we can hopefully see the growth from that. We can see the product from that. So I don't know if that's clear as mud, but the idea is just, how does culture not drive performance?
Yeah, I love what you said about basically giving more ownership to your players and allowing for them to, after you've set up that culture and the standards, allowing them to take it and run with it. What are some ways though that you enable your players? Because I don't think it's natural. I don't think it's natural for players to want to lead overall and want to own that culture. So what do you do relationally with your players to give them that power and that trust?
Well, I'll tell them. Every year we have 5 dudes that want to play basketball. That's great because that means I can coach again. But ultimately this is up to you guys. I'm out of eligibility.
Yeah.
The most we can play for anymore really is a t-shirt. And I can always use another t-shirt, but that's all we have. I can't get on the floor and score for them. Mm-hmm. They have to choose to do that. We have to do that together. I can help guide, but I will tell them that, guys, this is up to you. Mm. And I'm fortunate to be at a school that's called Legacy Christian Academy. What do you want your legacy to be?
Yeah.
What do you want to be remembered for? Do you want to be remembered for somebody that's non-committal, that throws out a half-baked plan, that goes into games ill-prepared? Is that what you want? What are you leaving behind? What are you leaving for the next guy? And so a lot of questions like that. But then, I know Jason Garrett always took a lot of heat for this phrase, but it's about the process.
Yeah. Yeah.
The process, and that pulls emotion out of it, because now things become a bit more rote. Um, and 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 so I will tell them that, guys, this is the culture that you want to create.
Yeah.
We will go, we'll either fly or crash based on you. And I'm not talking about wins or losses. People love to watch hard work.
Mm.
So let's work, and I'm of the opinion that everybody knows what hard work looks like and what hard work doesn't look like. And if you have dudes that are lazy on the floor, that won't dive, that won't give for one another, uh, it's not as fun to watch. When you have a team that feels like it's them versus the world, it's they will crash, and people won't want to go watch them. They won't get support, and this just creates this big chasm. And so it's, guys, okay, culture is everything. How can I will ask them this: if you have concentric circles, one right around the other, how is it possible for us to impact high school basketball on a national level? A lot of kids will go, no, right? Is it possible for us to impact Texas basketball, North Texas basketball? Let's, TAPS 5A District 1 basketball. Is it possible for us to impact legacy athletics, legacy boys athletics? So you have all these kind of concentric circles. What can we control? What can we impact? We can do that through being kind and working hard. If you're kind and you work hard, you don't really even need to be that smart. People will want to give you jobs because you work hard. And so a lot of that is just going to come down to, hey, we're going to work as hard as we can, and we're going to be kind, but we have to think about what we want to leave behind for others. And so constantly trying to push that ownership,
Yeah.
And figuring out what they want to commit to. And that's really hard sometimes.
Mm-hmm. I think, though, you're a couple big things you said is, instead of using I, use we when speaking, because it's like you said, it's not just your culture, your ideas that you're trying to press on them that they have to do or else. And then also that idea of choice. They get to choose. They get to choose to play at Legacy or not. They can just go to school there. They don't have to play basketball. So when they have that choice, then they get to choose the culture that they want. Do they want something positive? Do they want something that, like you said, will impact many people? And there's something powerful about the choice that the players have, and when they make that, just everything seems to align, with them and with what you want, with your culture.
Yeah, no, it's giving them that choice, seeing, and yeah, we have to bait that hook. I mean, we've got to. But you'll see things like, players will want to be at practice more usually.
Mm-hmm.
If you can, there are going to be days. I've said this to players before as well. I said, Josh, there are going to be days that you hate the game of basketball. Like you have zero desire to play, but you're going to love being around your buddies.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are going to be days that you just do not want to be around your buddies, but you love the game of basketball. And I said, you've got to draw from that. And Josh is a guy that played for me a few years back. But to be able to give him that, to say, listen, you have to have a draw to it. You have to have a connection. You have to be tethered, but to give that ownership, you love the game, you love the players. And on the best days, you love your teammates and the game, and you love competing. And it's kind of like the trifecta, and the clouds part. And it's a great day.
Yeah.
Here's another thing too. While we're talking about it, everybody has more fun when everybody works as hard as they can. You can think about teams that you've played on, or coached, where one guy or two guys just don't care, and they just don't work hard, and they plant that seed of bitterness or resentment, and you get other guys that start going, well, he didn't even want to be here. Well, he doesn't work hard. He doesn't dive on the floor. He doesn't make the extra pass. He won't take a charge. But when everybody will do that, then everybody starts getting a little bit more amped.
Yeah.
And you can even be competitive with that. And I know I'm just kind of going from one thing to the next, but when we're on the same team, Matt, I'm not always going to do the heavy lifting. You're not always going to do the heavy lifting. Heavy lifting meaning getting the job done on the court. When you're on the court, you're doing the heavy lifting. I'm on the sideline. I need to be encouraging you who are doing the heavy lifting. And my goal, if I'm competitive, it's a good time. I want to see how amped I can get you, because I want to see if you can make one more trip down the floor and you're wiped and you're exhausted and you're just so desiring a whistle to stop. And I just want to say, come on, Matt. Come on, Matt. Come on, Matt. You got this. Come on, go, go, go. It'll be funny and fun to me to watch you work as hard as you can. So there are a lot of things there that you can do, but you've got to establish a climate of trust, reliability, unselfishness, and ownership.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the Jamodi podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.